Um, yeah, that's what I would say. That's what I would say. Like I would look at the people that hire the criminals, because I haven't been to jail, but I just haven't been working, and it's still just like, what's wrong? Like, bruh, you know. So I'm like, yeah, I feel like that's the only way to go about it. Is whatever the criminal program is. Because I just don't want to be like I work somewhere and I didn't work there because, like, yeah, bro, I'm not. Yo, it's so crazy. Like, I forget that I'm recording this. Okay, but I guess that's good. Like to be like, what camera? Um, what else did I have to check? Yeah, because I already know I'm starting off on the wrong foot. If it's like I don't want to turn it on, but I'm about to turn it on though. I'm gonna turn it right back off. I'm gonna turn it right back off. You alone are my heart. You see what I'm saying? So I want to be like, hey, yeah, hey, 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 e. I love seeing myself. It went black, so I thought I was okay. I love seeing myself on the anyway on the screen. I saved it right. Yeah, I was gonna cry. That's what I'm saying, bro. It's being recorded. Just remember it's being recorded.
His book was written in 1939 by Napoleon Hill and weighing 248 pages. Written in the depths of the Great Depression, How to Sell Your Way Through Life explores a critical component of achievement, your ability to make the sale. Ringing eerily true in today's uncertain times, Hill's work takes a practical look at how, regardless of our occupation, we must all be salespeople at key points in our lives. Hill breaks down concrete instances of how the master salesman sees advantages and opportunities, giving you the tools you can use to sell yourself and your ideas. If you like what you hear, use the link in the video description to purchase. Today, we've written 100 books of how to sell your way through life. It is the power to think my own thoughts and be myself. Character is accurately reflected in one's mental attitude. Without a strong foundation built on positive character traits, success will not long endure. It is virtually impossible to fake a good character. Phonies are quickly spotted because they haven't the substance and determination to maintain.
Yeah, I feel the same way, bro. Like, I need a fresh start in life. I'm not going somewhere and being like, yeah, I worked at Walmart. I did not work at Walmart.
When you make a personal character, you also
I did not work at Walmart, and that's what I'm saying. Exactly. I've been like trying to be like an artist and stuff.
Chapter 1: Definition of salesmanship. The master salesman is a master.
Yeah, because I know I'm gonna fail, bro. If I start off the relationship lying,
Life is a series of ever-changing.
if I start off the relationship lying and being like, yeah, I've had. Like, bro, I haven't done any of that. And that's what I'm saying. I could be like, I'm in school. I was in school for a while, and then I was just unemployed. Like, there was no, like thing that was happening. Because you could say COVID, but that was happening to everybody. It wasn't just happening to me. So...
He discovered how to sell his way.
I'm so glad that I'm getting footage right now. So this is what I'm saying. I make like 2 or 3 a day. And before I was making 2 or 3 a day, but they were like on the phone, on the laptop, so they would only be like a couple hours. But with these, I could literally record all day. And then I don't think I could post a 24-hour video, but I could post like a 4 or 5 hour video. So that's what it's going to be. And pretty much all the space on here is taken up by the videos, which I should delete. But hopefully I'll post all of them one day. Hopefully. I don't know. And I don't know if it matters.
Selling is the art of planning in the mind of another a motive which will produce favorable action. The master salesman becomes a master because of his ability to induce other people to act upon motives without resistance or friction. Study, effort, and experience. The people must be served. In the future, the question of paramount importance will be, how much can I give in the way of service to others? Not how much can I get away with and keep out of jail?
You see what I'm saying? Exactly, bro. It's all built off like scams and lies, bro. And that's what I'm saying. I know you have like a quota or whatever, and like directions for your job, or like how to handle this situation or that situation. So you're just trying to like meet the criteria. But it's like, you know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, I have a unique situation, but it's not that unique. It's not that unique. It's not that unique. Yeah, bro. I just don't want to lie. It's like you have to lie. Bruh, I don't want to lie.
All anyone really requires as a capital on which to start a successful career is a sound mind, a healthy body, and a genuine desire to be as much service as possible to as many people as possible. If you wish to get ahead in the world, we must find ways of making ourselves to be intentional people who have to offer the world.
Okay.
Building a better mousetrap than one's neighbours will
Hey!
nothing
Okay.
unless sound,
Hey!
continuous sales promotion is placed into the trap. It is each person's duty and
Hey!
to provide himself with
Hey!
a form of
Okay.
media promotion
Hey!
and success in his chosen calling.
E!
I get better results by frankness in dealings with people. For I find
I!
that dealings not only wins friends,
Oh!
but also helps them.
Ooh!
Human ego is a tricky piece of
Ah!
it needs constant protection against all forms of flattery, the one element to which an ego responds most readily. Life is made up of situations and circumstances calling for yeses and nos. The person who negotiates his way through life successfully learns to use each in its own proper place. If you want to sell your way through life successfully, look around you. See what useful service you can render to as many people as possible. Value to others, you do not need to learn the art of flattery or to win people, and use personal influence. Moreover, those of whom you do win will stay liked. To be well liked gives
Yeah, bro, that's the biggest thing too. Is like I like you or like I don't like you. Like, so because that's crazy.
Then is customary. Whether
Anyway.
you wrapping a package, writing a letter, or closing the sale. Success in any calling is largely a matter of one's being able to negotiate his way through life with a minimum amount of friction in connection with his relationship with other people. Frankness and directness.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about, bro. Because it's just building relationships. It's just building relationships and like maintaining relationships, and that's what I'm saying, son. Like I'm just like jumping out the fucking.
The strategy of the
Ah. Yeah, bro. I wanna start like that. That's what I'm saying. That's
a master because
that's the main reason why I was like I should go to the unemployment office because I needed like help to do that. If I was just gonna lie, then like yeah,
Here's where because I lack
I can lie on my own.
The motive of design.
I can lie on my own. This is what I'm saying. It frustrates me, but exactly, we're on this fucking conveyor belt society where it's just like, you know what I'm saying? You add this and then like keep going. But I'm like, let's just like, fucking stop for a second.
Paints another picture. He omits no detail. He mixes word colorants so they blend in harmony and symmetry, which captures his perspective bias imagination. He builds the picture around a motive which dominates the entire scene, putting perspective bias own mind to work in his behalf. That is master salesmanship. Yet artists are made, not born. They may be born with inherent potentialities for artistic creation, but they become finished artists only by mastering the technique of harmony, form, and colour. Showmanship is not only one of the important factors in the master salesmanship, but it is important in practically every other calling. An effective showman is one who can dramatise the commonplace events of life and give them the interesting appearances of uniqueness. Effective showmanship calls for the sufficient imagination to be able to recognise things, people, and circumstances which are capable of being dramatised. People buy personalities and ideas much more quickly than they buy merchandise.
I'm about to make a LinkedIn though, like with that shit too.
It's likely by reason, they are swayed by emotions or feelings. The man who is not capable of arousing his own emotions very deeply is not apt to be able to appeal to others through their emotional nature. To become a master salesman, you must daily engage in study time, reading time, thinking time, and planning time. To be an able salesman, you can almost be anything else you wish to be. Emphasising the importance of sales strategy or a plan which has been carefully built around a problem motive. If you can't forgive, don't ask to be forgiven. Chapter 4. Qualities of the master salesman must develop. Science has abundantly proved that even a state of mind reflects a physical condition and that chemical and physical factors within the body itself bring about the moods and feelings and thoughts. The list of very desirable qualities: physical fitness, courage, imagination, speech, hard work, knowledge of the merchandise he sells, belief in the merchandise or service, appropriateness of merchandise, value given, knowledge of the prospective buyer, qualifying the prospective buyer, ability to neutralise the mind of the buyer, ability to close to a sale, pleasing personality, showmanship, self-control, initiative, tolerance, accurate thinking, persistence and faith, a habit of observation, the habit of rendering more service than is expected of him, profiting by failures and mistakes, the mastermind, a definite major aim, the golden rule of life, and enthusiasm. The 9 basic motives to which people respond most freely: the motive of self-preservation, the motive of financial gain, the motive of love, the motive of the sex urge, the motive of desire for power and fame, the motive of fear, the motive of revenge, the motive of freedom of body and mind, and the motive of desire to build and to create in thought and in material. Weakness in technique, failure to present a motive for buying, lack of persistence in sales presentation and in closing, failure to qualify prospective buyers, failure to neutralise the minds of his prospective buyers, lack of imagination, absence of enthusiasm, The major ways in personality and traits of a salesman. Number 1, the habit of procrastination. One or more of the 6 basic fears: the fear of poverty, the fear of criticism, the fear of ill health, the fear of loss of love or son, the fear of old age, and the fear of death. Spending too much time making calls instead of sales. Shifting responsibility to the sales manager. Perfection in creating alibis. Spending too much time in hotel lobbies. Buying hard luck stories instead of selling merchandise. Embedding too freely the night before. Depending on the sales manager for prospects. Waiting for business conditions to pick up. Hearing the word no. Fearing competition. Devoting too much time to the poultry business. Reading the stock market reports. And playing pessimism. Successful people in all callings never stop acquiring knowledge related to their major purpose, business, or profession. Chapter 5, Auto-Suggestion. Your first step in salesmanship. Because of the importance of self-study, the subject of auto-suggestion assumes an important role in the teaching of salesmanship. This is the principle through which the salesman saturates his own mind with belief in the commodity or service offered for sale, as well in his own ability to sell. Auto-suggestion is self-suggestion. The subconscious mind is the broadcasting station which voluntarily telegraphs one's thoughts and beliefs or disbeliefs to others. The 7 major positive emotions: the emotion of sex, the emotion of love, the emotion of hope, the emotion of faith, the emotion of enthusiasm, the emotion for optimism, and the emotion of loyalty. The world is controlled by the emotional faculty. The 7 negative major emotions: the emotion of anger, quick and transferring; the emotion of fear, prominent and easily discernible; the emotion of greed, subtle and persistent; the emotion of jealousy, impulsive and spasmodic; the emotion of revenge, subtle and quiet; the emotion of hatred, subtle and persistent; and the emotion of superstition, subtle and slow. Remember that people are motivated to buy or not to buy through their feelings. Remember also that much of what they believe to be their own feelings are impulses which they have unconsciously picked up from vibrations of thought released by the salesman. Life attracts the God who destroyed the first neighbor.
Oh shit,
Silence
okay.
is far more effective than words inspired by and mixed with the emotion of anger.
Okay.
Never has there been such an abundant opportunity as there is now for the person who is willing to serve before trying to collect. In Chapter 6, The Mastermind. Power is accumulated, organized, and intelligently directed knowledge. The mastermind principle makes available unlimited sources of knowledge because one may, through its application, avail oneself to the knowledge possessed by others, as well as the knowledge which has been accumulated and recorded. Let us keep in mind the fact that power is essential for successful achievement in every walk of life. Also, let us remember, power is organized and intelligently directed knowledge. Successful achievement is a result of power. One way to avoid criticism is to do nothing. Chapter 7, Your Improved Concentration. Concentration is the focusing of the attention, interest, and desire on the attainment of a definite end. Concentration is defined as activity of planning a definite aim, object, or purpose, and visualizing the same until ways and means for its realization have been created. Habit may grow out of concentration, and concentration Any idea, plan or purpose or definite aim which you persistently submit to your subconscious mind through the medium of concentration you describe brings to your aid the force of openness, intelligence, until eventually a practical plan procedure will flash into your mind during your concentration and organized energy.
Okay.
Energy can only be organized through the principle of concentration. It is a fact worthy of serious consideration. All men of outstanding success in all walks of life are men who concentrate the major portion of their thoughts and efforts upon some definite purpose or chief aim. The habit of focusing his mind upon a definite chief aim through the principles of concentration. Concentration develops the power of persistence and enables one to master all forms of temporary defeat. Every human being is ruled by the law of habit. Because this is true, the person who learns to build his habits to order practically controls the major cause of successful achievement. Concentration is the principle through which one may build one's habits to order. It has been correctly said that we first make our habits, and our habits then make us. They have habits of mind and habits of body. There is no point of compromise between a man and his habits. Either he controls his habits, or his habits control him. The successful man understands this truth, forces himself to build the sort of habits by which he is willing to be controlled. Whatever a man soweth, that shall he also reap.
Yeah, bruh. Lying is like really terrible. I mean, like, son.
Thoughts, desires, and aims. In analysis of men who accumulate
Yo, I don't know, man.
those fortunes in every case discovered that they represent the consummation of the state of mind.
I don't know, man.
Until concentrated thought externalized itself in physical reality. Thinking is the hardest.
Because everybody, I guess, like, you know what I'm saying?
It does not control the sort of service
You do all the time, so it's like whatever.
And it is that thing that makes or breaks you. Chapter 8, Initiative and Leadership.
Alright, so now I'm looking for like 2 bars too.
It means a selection of
Oh, high key. Yo, let me see.
achievement of that aim. The major attributes of initiative and leadership. Know definitely what you want. Build a practical plan or plans for the achievement of that which you want. Do not become discouraged no matter what obstacles you may meet. Do not be influenced by others to abandon your plans or your aim. Have no set hours of labour. The leader must devote to his task whatever hours are necessary for success. Concentrate upon one thing at a time, as you cannot dissipate thought and energy and still be efficient. Persistence is the keynote to success for all great leaders. Act quickly without waiting to be told by others what to do. A man is paid, not merely for which he knows, but more practically for what he does with what he knows, or that which he can get others to do. Successful men never wait for others to show them what to do or how to do it. They take the initiative themselves, appoint themselves to leadership, and with the necessary assistance and capital, and forge ahead despite all opposition. Self-confidence is one of the essentials for success in leadership. One of the natural tendencies of the human nature is that of the willingness to follow the man with great self-confidence. No one wishes to follow a man who does not seem to be sure of himself. A real leader is always persistent and never accepts temporary defeat as failure. The leader who changes his mind often soon loses the confidence of his followers. When a leader changes his mind, often he thereby counts his followers on notice that he is not sure of himself. And if he isn't sure of himself, how may he expect his followers to be sure of him? A man always does his best work when he feels that he's been acting upon his own initiative and knows he must assume full responsibility for his actions. Uses of persuasion, not power. There are 2 types of leaders in the world. One resorts to power and controls his followers through fear. The other resorts to persuasion and controls his followers through kindness is more powerful than compulsion. The law of compensation is always swift, but it is certain as the setting of the sun. An educated person is not merely the one who has the knowledge, but the one who knows where to get the knowledge when needed. Chapter 11. Neutralizing your prospective buyer's mind. A neutral or favourable mind of a prospective buyer should complement confidence, interest, and motive. The 3 subjects of confidence, interest, and motive have been attended to. The salesman has reached the point at which the sale may be closed. The art of the scientific salesmanship may be described as a 3-act drama consisting of Act 1, interest. This must be created by neutralizing the mind of the prospective buyer and establishing confidence. Act 2, desire. Desire must be developed through the proper presentation of the motive. And Act 3, action. Action or the close can be induced only be the proper presentation of the two preceding acts. Words alone will not sell. Words woven into combination of thought which create desire will sell. The 10 major factors on which confidence is built. Number 1, follow the habit of rendering more service and better service than you are paid to render. 2, enter into no transaction that does not benefit as nearly alike as possible everyone it affects. Make no statement which you do not believe to be true, no matter what the temporary advantages of false.
Yeah, bro. They always talk about morals and principles, and I feel like honesty is like it's such a key one.
And cultivate a wholesome admiration for people, like them better than you like money. And do your best to live as well as you preach your own philosophy of business. Actions speak louder than words. Accept no favours, large or small, without giving favours in return. And ask nothing of any person without believing that you have a right to that for which you ask. Enter into no arguments with any person over trivial or non-essential details. And spread the sunshine of good cheer wherever and whenever you can. No man trusts a joy killer. Confidence is the basics of all harmonious relationships. The salesman who overlooks this fact is unfortunate. He can never become a master salesman. This means he limits his earning capacities and circumscribes his possibilities of advancement. There are 2 major occasions which cause men and women to talk, and therefore advertise favourably or unfavourably of business. When they think they have been cheated, and when they have received a fairer treatment than expected. All people are like this. They are impressed by the law of contrast. Anything unusual or unexpected, whether it impresses favourably or unfavourably, makes a lasting impression. Whatever you possess, material, mental, or spiritual, you must use it or lose it. If you are successful, remember that somewhere, sometime, someone gave you a lift or an idea that started you in the right direction. Remember also that you were indebted to life until you helped some less fortunate person, just as you were helped. Part 2. A negative mind spawns only negative ideas. It is a physical impossibility for a negative mind to generate positive thoughts. The habit of negative thinking generates more and more negative thoughts. Develop the habit of eliminating negative thoughts the moment they appear. Chapter 13, Choosing Your Job. The majority of people devote more time to thinking about money they want or need than they do about creating ways and means of earning that amount through an equivalent of service. 98% of people of the world may be considered failures from the viewpoint of earnings and occupation. Also, 98% of people holding positions have drifted into them and remain there because they lack the power of decision to choose more suitable positions. Performing labour which one does not like is one of the greatest tragedies of civilization. Possession of personal power and use of it are 2 different things. Happiness is the ultimate height towards every human being striving. No man can be happy without some form of occupation. I refuse to believe what you say unless it harmonises with what you do. Chapter 14. Selecting a definite major aim as your life work. Singleness of purpose is a quality without which no one may attain to outstanding success. This is the age of specialization. It is also an age of keen competition which does not favour the person who cannot excel in some specific occupation. The 5 fundamental steps to your success. Number 1. Choice of a definite or a definite goal to be attained. Development of sufficient power to attain one goal. Perfection of a practical plan for attaining one's goal. Accumulation of specialised knowledge necessary for the attainment of one's goal. And persistence in carrying out your plan. Some of the advantages of a definite aim. First, singleness of purpose causes one to specialise, and specialisation tends toward perfection. Second, a definite aim permits one to develop the capacity to reach decisions quickly and firmly. And third, definiteness of purpose enables one to master the habit of procrastination. Fourth, definiteness of purpose saves the time and energy one would otherwise waste while wavering between 2 or more possible courses of action. And fifth, a definite purpose serves as a roadmap which charts the direct route to the end of one's journey. And sixth, definiteness of purpose fixes one's habits so that they are taken over by the subconscious mind and used as a motivating force involuntarily in driving towards one's goal. And 7, definiteness of purpose develops self-confidence and attracts the confidence of other people. Drifting people are like rudderless ships, and all the voyages of their life are bound in shadows and mysteries. History is rich in the recital of men who have hitched their wagons to a star, a single star, and ridden it into the heights of great achievement. With what mind or intention? Those who know where they are going usually get there. Brawn brings about a daily wage. The price is fixed by the law of supply and demand. General services rendered by one who is not specialised brings but little more than brawn. Brains, when marketed through a definite aim, has no fixed price. The sky is the limit in the marketing of the specialised talent. Those are statements of obvious fact. Yet 98% of every 100 people fail all through life because they do not follow the principles of working with the definiteness of purpose. Every failure will teach you a lesson that you need to learn if you will keep your eyes and ears open and be willing to be taught. Every adversity is usually a blessing in disguise. Without reverses and temporary defeat, you would never know what sort of metal of which you are made. Chapter 15. The habit of doing more than you're paid for. The habit of rendering more service and better service than one is paid to render is an absolute essential to the advantageous marketing of personal services. The capacity to assume responsibility is the quality that brings the highest monetary returns. If you render no more service than you are paid to render, then it is absolutely you are not entitled to any more pay. This is a fact against which there is no argument. Goodwill asset is generally known as one's reputation for efficiency. Every individual who works for a salary naturally wants more money and a better position. Not every such individual, however, understands that better positions and greater pay come as a result of motive, and the greatest of all motives with which these desirable benefits may be attracted is that rendering more service and better service than one is paid to render. People sometimes outgrow their positions and their employers. You are a merchant. You have the equivalent of a commodity to market. That equivalent is your personal services. Use the same principles of sound judgment in your marketing your services that a successful merchant uses in marketing his merchandise. As long as you're willing to let life push you around, it will. The customer is always right. Giving before trying to get. He profits most who serves best. The odds against the person who tried to get without giving an equivalent applied to the person who attempts to collect, pay before delivering adequate service. Just as they do to people who gamble. Those who try to harvest before sowing generally believe themselves wise enough to beat the game. It cannot be done. Most men can cheat others occasionally without detection, but no man can cheat others without observation by his own conscience, and that conscience is an official record on one's acts and thoughts. It writes the record of every thought and deed into the fabric of one's character. A clear conscience is an asset comparable to no one.
Even this is like you gotta get deeper in it. Pause.
By rendering more service and better service than his guests were asked to pay for. Chapter 16. Your pleasing personality. To negotiate with others without friction is a rare ability. It is necessary in marketing personal services effectively. A pleasing personality is an asset without which it is difficult to market personal services and to keep them marketed. A pleasing personality is one which has flexibility and adaptability sufficient to permit an individual to harmonise with magnetism to dominate him through attraction. A pleasing personality consists of many qualities, the more important of which are good showmanship, harmony with self, definiteness of the posture and carriage of the body, voice, serenity of the purpose, choice of language, a keen sense of humour, unselfishness, facial expression, positive thought, enthusiasm, a sound body, imagination, tact, versatility, the art of being a good listener, the art of forceful speech, and personal magnetism. Have something to say which is worth listening to, and say it with all the enthusiasm at your command. Every human being carries with him what is known as the individual atmosphere. Every business and every place of employment has is also a distinctive atmosphere which consists of the combined personalities of those who work there. A person with a dominating personality of pleasing nature may so cover the atmosphere of the place he works that the spirit of the entire place will be pleasing. On the other hand, one person who has a dominating personality of a negative nature may transmit that personality to everyone in the place of business so that the atmosphere of the place becomes displeasing and unpleasant. Every business is the extent shadow of one person. The positive or pleasing atmosphere value of a place of business, while it is an intangible asset, is one of the greatest assets any business can have. Such an atmosphere may be had only through a combination of positive individual personalities. The major factors of a negative personality: disloyalty, dishonesty, greed, envy and hatred, jealousy, anger, fear, revenge, fault finding, peddling scandal, uncontrollable enthusiasm,
Patience.
provocation, escaping responsibility for mistakes through alibis, exaggeration, egotism, obscenity, and selfishness. All forms of self-praise are easily recognized as evidence of inferiority complexes. Therefore, one's motto should be deeds, not words. Be your most severe critic. A pleasing personality will help you market your services effectively. Sound character will help you keep your services marketed permanently. And chapter 17, we're nearly there. Cooperation. Inability to cooperate still at the head of the list of the causes of failure. The time you put on a job is not the correct measure of your worth. That is determined by the quality and the quantity of your work, plus the influences you have on others or your mental attitude. Your position is nothing more than your opportunity to show that what sort of ability you have. You will get out of it exactly what you put into it, no more and no less. A big position is but the sum total of numerous little positions well filled. Chapter 18, How to Create a Job. Organised imagination brings the highest price of any form of ability. The world stands in need of men who will use their imaginations. The country is faced not by the necessity of solving one's problem, but the necessity of solving hundreds of problems. Pick out any one of these problems and work out, through imagination, its solution and your core problem of
Oh my God! Okay.
Not all of the new ways of doing business, nor the best ways have yet been found.
So I'm like, I'm streaming!
This means your opportunity. Use your imagination and convert that opportunity into fortune. The greatest cure for loneliness, discouragement, and discontentment is work that produces a healthy sweat. Chapter 19, How to Choose Your Occupation. Decision in connection with the choice of a life work is one of the two most important decisions which young people have the responsibility of making. The other decision is in connection with the selection of a mate in marriage. Every young man and woman ought to be able to, number one, operate a computer efficiently. Number two, take notes speedily. And three, keep a set of books accurately before selecting a vocation. Knowledge of all subjects is the important successful conduct of any business or profession. A business college training is an absolute necessity to the person who aspires to a position as an executive in the field of business today, for the reason that executives must have understudy experience of a nature, which can be acquired only through business college preparation.
Oh shit.
The urge of necessity is a great blessing to most people. It forces them to do the things they should do, but too often don't do, without the pressure of necessity. The faith and persistence to accept defeat as being nothing more than an experience from which something of value. Life is filled with obstacles which must be surmounted. Only those who have the stamina and willingness to fight can win. Don't ask too much of life, that's all. In the final analysis, if you get just a little success and a lot of love, they'll hold your hand up as a winner. The happiest people are those who have learned to mix play with their work and to bind the two together with enthusiasm. Chapter 20, How to Budget Your Time. 8 hours for sleep, 8 hours for work, 4 hours for recreation and health, 2 hours for study and preparation, and 2 hours for extra service for the benefit of others without pay, equals 24 hours. Remember again that you are where you are and what you are because of your own conduct. You cannot be successful without paying the price of success. You must begin ascertaining what his weaknesses And when they have been discovered, he must form habits which will either eliminate or bridge those weaknesses so they will not work against him. We are all more or less the victim of habit. Watch your habits during this 8-hour period because those habits hold the secret of your future. No matter who you are or what you may be your calling in life, this period offers only hope available to the person who is poverty-stricken but desires riches. It is a starting point for the person who aspires to a position of independence and freedom. When you come to analyse yourself for the purpose of discovering how many of the causes of failures are standing in your way, you will discover that most, if not all, of those disclosed by your analysis have grown out of your habits of waste during this 8-hour period. We are all victims of the power of suggestion. Most of our habits are acquired through the influence of other people around us. Excuses take a financial toll as well as a physical toll. Nothing can be marketed effectively unless the product to be marketed has value. The principle of sequence of purpose. You have the power to create anything you can imagine. With proper action on the ideas produced by your imagination, you will achieve success. In the last chapter, chapter 21, your master plan for getting the position. Life's battles don't always go to the stronger or faster man, but sooner or later the man who wins is the man who thinks he can. Know the difference between failure and temporary defeat, and say that you never accept defeat as anything more than the inspiration to make a fresh and more determined start. Understand tolerance to mean an open mind to all subjects, towards all people. It is well worth remembering that a client or customer is the most important factor in any business. If you don't think so, try to get along without him or her for a while. Let me emphasize that you should use your own imagination and initiative when it comes to actual writing of the letter of application. There are no lazy men. There may appear to be a lazy man is only an unfortunate person who has not found the work which he is best suited. And that's a wrap on this amazing book, How to Sell Your Way Through Life by Napoleon Hill, an absolute classic. Look back at our channel for previous video book summaries and subscribe to our channel for future books. Don't forget to follow us on Instagram, #BestBookBits. If you liked the video and want to buy the book, click the link in the video description to purchase from Amazon. Thanks for watching, and I hope you learned a thing or two. Have a great day. Welcome to the video book summary of Spin Selling by Neil Rackham. This book was published in 1988 and weighing in at 197 pages. Spin Selling is essential reading for anyone involved in selling or managing a sales force. Unquestionably the best documented account of sales success ever collected, and a result of the Hatblades Corporation's massive 12-year, $1 million research into effective sales performance. This groundbreaking resource details the revolutionary spin, situation, problem, implication, need, payoff strategy. In Spin Selling, Rackham, who has advised leading corporations such as IBM and Honeywell, delivers the first book to specifically examine selling high-value product and services. By following the simple, practical, and easy-to-apply techniques of spin, readers will be able to dramatically increase their sales volume from major accounts. Rackham answers key questions such as what makes success in major sales, and why do techniques like closing work in small sales that fail in large ones. You'll learn why traditional sales methods which will be developed by small consumer sales just won't work for larger sales, and why conventional selling methods are doomed to fail in major sales. Packed with real-world examples, illuminated graphics, and informative case studies, and backed by hard research data. Spin Selling is the $1 million key to understanding and producing record-breaking high-end sales performance. If you like what you hear in the book summary, I strongly suggest you buy the book using the link in the description. So without further ado, I bring you the book summary of Spin Selling. The difference between small and large sales. Define a small sale. Is a sale which can normally be completed in a single call and which involves a low dollar value. In selling consumer good products, knowledge makes all the difference. But in large sales, it can prevent success because the customer won't see enough value to justify such a large decision. Customer hesitation when deciding about a large sale isn't so much about the product as entering a relationship. You will have to work with the seller over a period of some months, rather than just buy the item and walk out the door. In small sales, the customer can afford to take more risks because the consequence of mistakes are relatively small. The spin sequence of questions. 1. Situation questions. Don't overuse them and bore the customer. Who do they benefit? The seller. Tell me more about your business. Or, what steps do you go through in making a purchasing decision here? Do your homework before the call. 2. Problem questions. Explore problems, difficulties, and dissatisfaction. Number 3. Implication questions. Ask how the problems will affect future probability, customer satisfaction, etc. The idea is to take a problem that the buyer perceives to be small and build it up into a problem large enough to justify action and build up the value or usefulness of the solution. Decision makers seem to respond most favourably to sales people who uncover implications. Implication questions are sad. And number 4, need payoff questions. If you ask the buyer to explain to which elements of the problem your solution can solve, they are explaining the payoff themselves and will find the solution more acceptable. Is it important for you to solve this problem? Why would you find this solution so useful? Is there any other way this could help? The buyer's attention is now focused on how the solution would help, not on the product details. It is easier for them to remember this when convincing others rather than a list of features. Need payoff questions are happy. How to prepare implication questions. Number 1, write down a potential problem the customer is likely to have. 2, then ask yourself what related difficulties this problem might lead to. Write these down. And 3, for each difficulty, write down the questions it suggests. Avoid need payoff questions too early in the call. This will likely put the customer on the defense. Build up needs before asking need payoff questions, such as, if I could show you a way to increase productivity here, would you be interested? Would you be interested in a faster way to process your accounts? Better. Why is that important? How would that help? Would it be useful if there is any other way this could help you? Use open-ended questions. Using open or closed questions is less important than addressing all the spin areas above. Handling objections. Successful sellers concentrate on objection prevention, not on objection handling. Closing. Define closing. A behaviour used by the seller which implies or invites a commitment so that the buyer's next statement accepts or denies commitment. Closing technique work when the sale is small, but fail to work as the size of the sale increases. Closing techniques speed sales, enabling large sales to more time at not less. You don't wonder, how can I cut down on the time I'm spending with the key decision makers? Your objective shouldn't be to close a sale, but to open a relationship. Plan for the 4 outcomes of the sales call. What is your objective of the call? Know before you call if you want an order or advance. Number 1, order. Number 2, advance. Moves the sales forward towards a decision. If this isn't your goal for the call, you're wasting your prospects and your time. Number 3, continuation. Customers often make positive noises at the end of the call as a polite way to get rid of unwanted seller. This is not an action. An advance is successful. This is continuation, which is not. Number 4, sale.
Okay.
Define any statement made by the buyer which expresses a want or concern to be satisfied. When the customer perceives the problem to be larger than the cost isn't the only consideration for in major sales, you must develop the need further so that it becomes larger. And more acute in order to justify the of your solution. Remember that in large sales isn't measured only in terms of a bad decision becomes a job. The buyer often sees significant risks and hassles which add to the cost side of the value. How is the backfire for a low price? By listing all the features expect a high price. When the product wrap turns out to be
Ah.
competition,
Oh.
price sensitivity, and cause the buyer to feel extra positive about the lower price tag. But if the item is 100 times more expensive, the price concern created by the features will make people less likely to buy. That's why really expensive watches have very few features and emphasize their style instead. And that's a wrap on book 97, Spin Selling by Neil Rackham. Subscribe to our channel for future video book summaries and follow us on Instagram. This summary is on SamuelThomasDavis.com. Watch previous video book summaries on our channel. And if you like the video and want to buy the book, click the link in the video description to purchase from Amazon. Thanks for watching, and I hope you learned a thing or two. Have a great day. Welcome to the video book summary of Pitch Anything, an innovative method for presenting, persuading, and winning the deal by Ori Clough. This book was published in 2011 and weighing in at 548 pages. When it comes to delivering a pitch, Oren Clough has unparalleled credentials. Over the past 13 years, he has used his one-of-a-kind method to raise more than $400 million. And now, for the first time, he describes his formula to help you deliver a winning pitch in any business situation. Whether you're selling ideas to investors, pitching a client for new business, or even negotiating for a higher salary, Pitch Anything will transform the way you position your ideas. If you like what you hear in the book summary, I strongly suggest you buy the book using the link in the description. So without further ado, I bring you the book summary of Pitch Anything. Chapter 1, The Method. The process using the acronym STRONG. Setting the frame. Telling the story. Revealing the intrigue. Offering the prize. Nailing the hook point. And getting a decision. Chapter 2, The Frame. Own the frame, win the game. A frame is an instrument you use to package your power, authority, strength, information, and status. Everyone uses frames whether they realise it or not. Every social encounter brings different frames together. Frames do not coexist in the same time and place for long. They crash into each other and one or another gains control. Only one frame survives. The others break and are absorbed. Stronger frames always absorb weaker frames. The winning frame governs the social interaction. It is said to have frame control. When you are responding ineffectively to things the other person is saying and doing, the person owns the frame, and you are being frame controlled. If you have to explain your authority, power, position, leverage, and advantage, you do not hold the stronger frame. The power of frame, defiance, and light humour are the keys to seizing power and frame.
Technically, but I was still lying.
When you are defined and
So it's
frame at
like,
the same time,
that shit's not
he
cool,
is
bro.
pleasantly challenged by you and instinctively knows that he is in the presence of a pro. The time frame. The mistake most people make when they see their audiences becoming fatigued is to talk faster, to try to force their way through the rest of the pitch. Instead of imparting more valuable information faster, however, they only succeed in helping the audience retain less of the message. Here is another example of a proposing time frame and how to respond to it. If you visit customers' offices, you will recognize this situation. The customer: "Hi, yes, well, I only have about 10 minutes to meet you, but come in." Salesperson: "I really appreciate your time. Thanks for fitting me into your busy schedule." This is common dialogue and the form of business etiquette, and exactly the wrong thing to do. You are reinforcing your target's power over you and confirming your target's higher status. You are essentially handing your target your frame and saying, "Here, please crush my frame, control me, and waste my time." When you encounter a time frame like this, quickly break it with a stronger prize frame of your own. Qualify your target on the spot. No, I don't work like that. There's no sense of rescheduling unless we like each other and trust each other. I need to know, are you good to work with? Can you keep appointments and stick to a schedule? Your target: "Okay, you're right about that. Yeah, sure, I can do that. Let's do this now. I have 30 minutes. That's no problem. Come on in." You have just broken your target's time frame. Establish that your time is important, and he is now giving you focused attention instead of treating your visit like an annoyance. The intrigued frame. In financial deals, I respond with something like this: "The revenue is 80 million, expenses are 62 million, the net is 18 million. These and other factors you can verify later, but for right now, what we need to focus on is this. Are we a good fit? Should we be doing business together? This is what I've come here to work on. If you're pitching a product and the drill down is on the price, don't chase this conversation thread. Do answer fast, answer directly with high-level details only, and go straight back to the relationship question. What this tells the audience is that, number one, I'm trying to decide if you're right for me. And number two, if I decide to work with you, the numbers will back up what I'm telling you. So let's not worry about that now. And three, I care about who I work with. Keep the target focused on the business relationship at all times. Analysis comes later. This is the best and most reliable way to deal with the target who suddenly becomes bored and tries to entertain himself with the details of your deal. Remember, when you own the frame, you control the agenda, and you determine the rules under which the game is played. When the target agreed to meeting with you, what he or she really was saying was this: is there a puzzle I'm interested in solving? No one takes a meeting to hear about something they already know and understand. It's a fundamental concept dividing every single presentation. It's the hook that allows you, as the presenter, to grab and hold attention by subconsciously saying, I have a solution to one of your problems. I know something that you don't. This is why people agree to take meetings and to hear a pitch. At the start of your meeting, you have the audience's attention. It's a rare moment, but not for the reason you may think. Audience members are, with full concentration and at the most basic and primal level, trying to figure out the answer to the question. How similar is your idea to something I already know about or to a problem I have already solved? If the audience member discover that the answer is close to what they had earlier guessed, they will mentally check out of you. They will experience a quick ping of self-satisfaction at the moment of realization, just before they mentally check out. As your pitch moves along, at any time, some or all of the members of your audience will solve the problem, see the solution, and get the whole story. Then they check out. This is why you see the presenters lose more and more of the audience as time goes on. Those who solve the puzzle drop out. We generalize by saying, oh, they've lost interest. But what really happened is they learned enough about the idea to feel secure that they understand it, and there is nothing more to be gained by continuing to pay attention. They determined that there was no more value to be had by engaging with us on any level. When your target drills down into technical material, you break that frame by telling a brief about the relevant story that involves you. You need to be at the center of your story, which immediately redirects attention back to you. People will pause, look up, and listen because you are sharing something personal. As you share your story, there has to be some suspense in it because you are going to create intrigue in telling of the story by telling only a part of the story. The intrigue story. Your intrigue story needs the following elements. It must be brief and the subject must be relevant to your pitch. You need to be at the center of the story. There should be risk, danger, and uncertainty. There should be time pressure. A clock is ticking somewhere, and there are ominous consequences if action is not taken quickly. There should be tension. You are trying to do something, but are being blocked by some force. There should be serious consequences. Failure would not be pretty. The prizing frame reloaded. Prizing is a way to deal with the threatening and fast-approaching frames that are likely to push you into a low-status position. The basics. If you're trying to win your target's respect, attention, and money, he becomes the prize. When your target is trying to win your attention and respect, you are the prize. This, of course, is what you want. Prizing is the sum of the actions you take to get your target to understand that he is commodity and that you are the prize. Successful prizing results in your target chasing you, asking you to be involved in your deal. Money is never a prize. It's a commodity. It means for getting things done. Money simply transfers economic value from place to place so that people are able to work together. Prizing 201. Avoiding the mistakes. Make the buyer qualify himself back to you. Do this by asking such questions as, why do I want to do business with you? Protect your status. Don't let the buyer change the agenda, the meeting time, or who will attend. Withdraw if the buyer wants to force this kind of change. Remember, small acts of defiance and denial combined with humour are extremely powerful in maintaining your frame of control and in the reinforcing your higher status. Chapter 3, Status. Elevating your social status. The hedge fund manager. A couple of years ago, I took a meeting with Bill Gunn, a hedge fund manager. Here is a quick review of what happened in Bill's office that day. I found myself in Bill's office with no frame control and in the beta position. I perpetrated a mildly shocking but unfriendly act that caused a new frame collision. As the shock of my action wore off, the attention of the targets did not waver. Believe me, it never does when you do something like this, and I continued accumulating status like a video gamer, collecting power stars as each of the targets advances to new levels. The faster you grab status, the more is available for you to take. As I captured attention, I then shifted my focus to acquiring local star power and then alpha status. I got local star power by using information dominance to quickly shrink the frame around my area of specialization, making me stable because I was an expert no longer undermine my deal points. Having I newly acquired local star power, I quickly moved the discussion to a level where I could not be challenged by using the primary core value of hard work, domain expertise, and moral authority, which we'll discuss in a moment. The moment I was done with the pitch, I began to pull away and kept pulling away until I finally left the office, but not before I had set the hook point and received
Okay.
seizing situational status. Here are the steps involved in elevating your status in any situation. You'll recognize some of the actions from framing, and for good reason. Frame control and status are closely related, as they are the pitch technique you will learn in Chapter 4. Politely ignore power rituals and avoid beta traps. Be unaffected by your customer's global status, meaning the customer's status inside and outside the business environment. Look for opportunities to perpetrate small denials and defiances that strengthen your frame and elevate your status. As soon as you take power, quickly move the decision into an area where you are in domain expert, where the knowledge and information are assignable by your audience. Apply a prize frame by positioning yourself as a reward for making the decision to do business with you. Confirm your alpha status by making your customer, who now temporarily occupies a beta position, make a statement that qualifies your higher status. Chapter 4, Pitching your big ideas. Pitching the big idea. Short time frames are not a choice. You can't afford to run long. The audience brain won't give you more time. And worse, when attention runs dry, after about 20 minutes, the brain starts forgetting things it has already learned. Let the target know he isn't trapped into a typical hour-long meeting. Guys, let's get started. I've only got 20 minutes to give you the big idea, which will leave us some time to talk it over before I have to get out of here. You're going to make the pitch in 4 sections or phrases. Number 1, introduce yourself and the big idea, 5 minutes. 2, explain the budget and secret sauce, 10 minutes. Offer the deal, 2 minutes. And number 4, stack frames for a hot ignition, 3 minutes. Phrase 1, introduce yourself and the big idea. Many times I've seen people spend 15 minutes or longer on their background. Absurd. No one is that fantastic. Start with one great thing. Get your track record on the table and do it fast, clean and problem-free. Targets simply do not like old deals. They want to see movement. They don't like deals that have been sitting around, ignored by other investors or partners. It would be like a copy salesman saying, "Hey, how would you like model T100? We've had 50 of them in the warehouse forever." Introducing the big idea. This idea introduction pattern goes like this. 4, target customers who are dissatisfied with the current offering in the market. My idea product is a new idea or a product category that provides key problem solution features, unlike the competitive product. My idea product is described key features. Let's review the actions to take in phase 1 of the pitch. First, you put the target at ease by telling him in advance that your pitch is going to be short, 20 minutes, and that you're not going to be hanging around too long afterwards. This keeps the target's croc brain focused on the here and now and feeling safe. Then you give your background in terms of a track record of successes, not a long list of places and institutions where you simply punch the clock. There's plenty of evidence to suggest the more you talk about your background, the more average it becomes, because the target is hardwired to average information about you, not add it up. Next, you show that your idea is not a static flash of genius. Rather, there are market forces driving the idea, that you are taking advantage of the brief market window that is opened. And you're admitted that there will be competition, showing that you're not naive about business realities. Because the brain pays attention to things that are in motion, you paint a picture of the idea moving out of an old market into a new one. Doing it this way, you don't trigger change blindness, which would make your deal easy to neglect. Last, you bring your idea into play by using the idea introduction pattern. Now the target knows exactly what it is, who it's for, who you compete with, and what your idea does better than the competition's. This simple pattern makes sure that your idea is easy to grasp and focus on what is real. The strategy works so well because it avoids triggering a threat response. Phase 2. Explain the budget and secret sauce. As I look back on my experiences, 2 giant realizations tower above all others. Realization 1. It doesn't matter how much information you give, a lot or a little, but instead how good your theory of mind is. In other words, it's important how well you can tune your information to the other person's mind. Realization 2. All the important stuff must fit into your audience's limits of attention, which is for most people is about 20 minutes. Get their attention. Attention will be given when information novelty is high and will drift away when information novelty is low. What is attention? When a person is feeling both desire and tension, that person is paying serious attention to what's in front of him or her. It comes down to the presence of 2 neurotransmitters, dopamine and norepinephrine. Dopamine is the neurotransmitter of desire. Norepinephrine is the neurotransmitter of tension. Together, they add up to attention. You need them both to be coursing through the crocodile brain. To give a dopamine kick and create desire, offer reward. To give a norepinephrine kick and create tension, take something away. Dopamine isn't exactly the chemical of experiencing pleasure. Instead, it's the chemical of anticipating a reward. How do you get more dopamine flowing in the brain? Novelty. A raft of brain imaging experts have demonstrated that the novel events are highly effective at releasing dopamine. Your brain is stimulated by surprise because our world is fundamentally unpredictable. He adds, you may not always like novelty, but your brain does. You create novelty by violating the target's expectation in a pleasing way. Novelty is the form of an unexpected gain, gives the brain a blast of dopamine. On the other hand, if you reward your expected fails to materialize, then dopamine dries up and negative feelings start happening. The amount of dopamine in a cocktail has to be just right. Not enough, and there is no interest in you or your ideas. Too much, and there is no fear or anxiety.
Oh, okay.
Low intensity push and pull pattern. Push. There's a real possibility you might not be right for each other. Pause. Allow the pause to sink in. It must be authentic. Pull. But then again, if this did work out, our forces could combine to become something great. There's a two-way connection between pushing and pulling back. When it operates simultaneously, introduces enough tension to create alertness. If you always pull the target towards you, he or she becomes cautious and anxious. Consistently pulling someone in, also known as selling hard, is a signal of neediness. As business people, we come together to find solutions to problems, not to admire problems that have already been solved for us. If you don't have a series of challenges for the target to overcome, with pushes and pulls and tension loops, then you don't have a pitch narrative. The heart of the pitch. Pitching numbers and projections. Every experienced buyer and investor knows that you will be doing these 2 things. Saying that your budgets are conservative. Preparing absolutely aggressive and optimistic plans. Focus on demonstrating your skills at budgeting, which is a difficult and highly regarded executive talent. Spend almost no time on your skills at projecting revenue, a task that a simpleton can perform. Competition. How easy is it for new competitors to jump in the game? How easy is it for customers to switch out your product with alternatives? Secret sauce. This one thing that will give you staying power against competition. Secret sauce. The unfair advantage you have over others. Phase 3. Offer the deal. Describe to your audience what you are going to receive when they decide to do business with you. Chapter 5. Frame, stacking, and hot cognitions. Phase 4. Frame, stacking, and hot cognitions. Decide that you like something before you fully understand it. That's a hot cognition. In decision making, however, we don't do much analysis, if any at all. We go with our gut. Experiments have detected decisions 7 seconds before the subjects felt they had made a conscious choice. We tend to like or dislike things before we know much about them. Most of the time, the data we've collected about our choices and alternatives and options aren't used to make a decision anyway. They are used to justify decisions after the fact. Even when we try the rational approach, making a list of pros and cons, if it does not come out of how we like, we go back and redo the list until it does. Hot cognition. Number 1, the intrigue frame. Introducing something the target is sure to want but cannot get right now. This is the kind of narrative the targets truly enjoy. Who is the mystery man, Joshua, and how do we meet him? This works because it's not about what happened. That's actually a boring story. What's important is who it happened to and how the characters reached to the situation. Nobody cares about the narrative where you witness something. They want to see someone forced into action and positively overcoming obstacles. People want to know how they've faced obstacles and overcome them. They want to see you in situations that reveal your character. They want to know that you are someone who rises to whatever level necessary to overcome obstacles and someone who travels in the company of interesting people who are players in whatever game you are playing. The target's brain does not love abstract concepts. Every abstract concept has to be kicked up to the neurocortex.
Oh my God.
Slowly and painstakingly. Hot cognition 2, the prize frame. The basic elements of a prize frame include: I have one of the better deals in the market. I am choosy about who I work with. It seems like I could work with you, but really, I need to know more. Please start giving me some materials on yourself. I still need to figure out if we could work well together and be good partners. What did your last business partners say about you? When things go sideways in a deal, how do you handle it? My existing partners are choosy. Hot cognition 3, the time frame. The addition of time pressure to a decision-making event reduces decision quality. There's a scarcity bias in the brain, and potential loss of a deal triggers fear. Extreme time pressure feels forced and cut rate, but the truth is that time is a factor in every deal. You have to find the right balance between fairness and pressure and set a real time constraint. Hot cognition 4, the moral authority frame. The president can lead us into war, or with a few pen strokes sign a bill that will affect millions. But when his doctor says, turn around and take your clothes off, he does it without question. But when doctors try to impose their frame on Mother Teresa, which are, do what I say, defer to my accept my conclusions about life and death, Mother Teresa reframed with, material wealth is worth nothing. Life and death isn't critical. Help the downtrodden. A rich man is less likely to enter the kingdom of heaven than a camel is to pass through the eye of a needle. I got them all to sign up to volunteer work. Chapter 6, eradicating neediness. Neediness is a signal of threat. Do you still think it's a good deal? So, what do you think? We can sign a deal right away if you want us to. This is the purest form of validation seeking and the most lethal form of neediness. One dramatic way to eradicate neediness involves going into every social interaction with a strong time frame that you're prepared to use at any moment. This frame communicates loudly and clearly that you are needed somewhere else. But this is just a part of the broader, more comprehensive solution to eradicating neediness. Here's the basic formula. 1. Want nothing. 2. Focus only on things you do well. And 3, announce your intention to lead the social encounter. 3 main rules of the Tower. Eliminate your desires. It's not necessary to want things. Sometimes you have to let them come to you. Be excellent in the presence of others. Show people one thing that you are very good at and withdraw. At a critical moment, when people are expecting you to come after them, pull away. I made 3 points. Here's what I told the enterprise investors. This deal will be fully subscribed in the next 14 days. We don't need VC money, but we want a big name on our cap sheet that will strengthen our initial public offering, IPO registration. I think you guys are interested, but are you really the right investor? We need to know more about you and the relationship and the brand value your firm can bring to our deal. Chapter 7, Case Study, the airport deal. The brain is wired to do things to achieve status, not money. Chapter 8, Get in the game, getting started. Here are the progressive steps to learning the method. Step 1, learn to recognize the beta traps and how to step around them. This is a low-risk way to train your mind to begin thinking in a frame-based way. As you go about your business of life, look for beta traps. Identify anything as that designed to control your behavior and think of how you would step around it. The key at this stage is to get good at seeing the traps. They are everywhere. While there is no immediate harm in doing nothing, when you are told to wait in the lobby until you're called, it's a test. Remind yourself that if you step into a beta trap, the next one will be even larger and more difficult to overcome. Step 2. In a gradual way, start stepping around beta traps. It will feel uncomfortable at first, of course, but it will push you forward to the place where it becomes natural and hardly noticeable to you. Work with a partner to practice beta trap avoidance. As I said at the start of the book, this method is powered by its simplicity. I've been practicing for over 10 years and I've survived the proposed using only 4 basic frames and the ability to avoid beta traps. So don't overcomplicate this or worry over your lack of technique. It will come naturally to you. Just be sure to have fun at it. That's the secret sauce. And step 3, identify and label social frames. Notice the frames that you are coming at you on every level of your life. Power frames, time frames, and the analysis frames are everywhere, and they crush into you on a daily basis. Develop your ability to see them coming, describe them, and discuss them with your partner. Become very good at identifying frames using the unique language of framing. And step 4, begin to initiate frame collisions with safe targets. Those who pose no major career risk to you. What I'm saying is here, tomorrow, don't stride into the CEO's office, grab a sandwich out of his hand, and put your feet on his desk. Tell him that it's time you and he had a little talk about your bonus. Working with a partner. Bring to overtake opposing frames in a fun, lighthearted way.